I found this car for him too. This was a famous guy, Eddie Guerrero, who died, and he was a professional wrestler. This car was on the cover of all the lowrider magazines. As you guys know, I showed you my purple one, right?
Yeah.
So I found this one. I said, Fred, because I got him into the lowrider stuff, because you can tell Fred doesn't, this isn't his style.
Belt on top.
Yeah. So.
But now he loves it.
So I got a call from my friend, and I went up there, and he goes, Rob, you're the only guy I know with lowrider cars. Do you know anything about this car? And I go, oh man, I know they're outdated, because I didn't want to tell him that I'm in love with the car and it's coming home with me. He's trying to sell me on this thing, and I'm going, oh yeah, people don't want these no more. This was back in the 80s, the Mexicans, they did the lowriders, and now they do the donks and the big wheels. And he's just a regular car guy that flips cars, doesn't know anything about this culture or the cars. And I'm drooling over it, and I'm going, this car sucks. You're going to spend a lot of money on this, man. He goes, I just spent $4,000 to get it to move. He goes, because it wouldn't move. It's sitting on a frame, so he had to put new batteries in there. Batteries times 8, $3,000-4,000 bucks. By the time you get it fixed, they're not cheap. You ever put golf cart batteries in a golf cart? By the time you're done, it's as expensive as your whole golf cart. So and he's like, I don't know, man, about this car. And I said, yeah, you're going to be stuck with this one a long time. He goes, damn it. I knew I shouldn't have bought this thing. I bought it with that 3 or 4 other cars, and they threw this thing, and I was like, I got $30,000 into that thing. And I go, Jesus, man, I think somebody spent about $100,000 on it to get it to where it is. It's all chromed out, frame off. And I said, man, you're stuck with this one. You're going to hate it. It's going to be the worst thing you ever bought. And he goes, damn it. And what do you give it for me right now? I said, man, I don't want to insult you. How much you got into it? He goes, I got 30 into it. And I go, oh man, you ain't gonna get that, bro. He would have got way more. And I'm just, he's haggling me, but he don't understand that my dad and my brother are all car salesmen. I grew up with them. I know the tactics. I know how to don't get excited. He called me up. I didn't call him up. I didn't go, hey, cool car. Let me see. What do you know about it? I'm just over there kind of downplaying it every way I can, because I realize this guy knows nothing about the lowriders. This car's worth way more than what he's got into it. To build that, you're looking at 6 figures all day. These are not cheap, by the way. And I just beat him down, and I called up my buddy Fred, and Fred's on the phone. I go, Fred, I got a car here. I heard you're interested in lowriders, and the guy's listening to me. And I go, yeah, it's all right. It needs some work and stuff. And he goes, tell him. Take 25 for it, 25 right now. And I go, he wants 25 right now, and Fred's not even saying anything. He's going, yeah, he knows what I'm doing. And I go, just ride with me, and I'm going, 15 grand? And the guy goes, man, I got 30 into it. I go, Fred, the car, he's got 30 into it, man. And Fred's not saying anything. And I'm playing this dude, and he's like, can you go any higher? And he's like, man, give me 23. And I'm like, Fred, he said he'd take 23, and he's like, and I go, just 15? Fred ain't saying nothing. He never said a number or anything. I'm just working the dude over, playing him like Fred's talking to me, and I ain't saying shit, and Fred's just laughing. He's laughing on the phone. I ended up getting it for 15.
Wow.
And it would cost you so much. And I told Fred, I gave it to him basically. I just said, hey, because we go to these car shows and I have money. Now he can come with me and be as a lowrider, because what happened was I pulled this lowrider up at one of these local car shows. Put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up, put them up, put your hands up, put your hands up. When these things pull up at a car show, and nobody who has any of these kind of cars that know about Camaros and 69 Camaros or SS's and Impalas, all these things, they don't know these. This is the culture of the Mexicans in LA. They started it, they own it, that's their shit. I grew up, and I know them because I grew up, sorry ladies, lack of better words, I'm trying to think how to phrase this. I grew up, the only pornography that I could have as a kid, you couldn't get the Playboy magazine or the Hustler magazine. The only thing you could get with any legs or at all in a bikini was a lowrider magazine. And she's always doing that. And I was like, I'm just getting the car magazine. You know what I'm saying, right? And then I fell in love with the cars after a while, and I was like, oh, there is a car in that picture.
Did the belt come with it?
The belt did not come with the car, but it is Eddie Guerrero belt. So once we found out this car, which the guy never knew and probably still doesn't when he sold it to me, that this was a famous person's car, Eddie Guerrero. So this car was on the front cover of Lowrider magazine twice, and we have the magazines, they're probably here. And he died, and he was a WWE professional wrestler, like Rey Mysterio. He wrestled with the Von Erichs in Texas and everybody you can mention. Eddie Guerrero is one of the most famous wrestlers of all time.
Eddie Guerrero, the new WWE Champion, Latino Heat. It's a different kind of high tonight.
And this was his car, and he came out to this. When he had a big bout inside of a stadium, he would drive this car out, have the music going, and get out and let's go. Take his buddy and throw him and slam him down and, you know, do the whole thing. But that was his car.
Where was the car at?
There he is.
Yeah.
WWE. Famous. He's dead. And now that's his car. Somehow it made it through the maze to find it to that guy who knows nothing. And then somehow it was summoned up on me who does know it. He called me up because you're the only guy I know that has anything to do with these lowriders in this whole entire, Florida, this is not a big thing. They have a lot in Texas, way more in Texas of the 13 inches, what they call them. You guys know it because you're old as me and you remember the magazines and the lowrider. So that culture still goes, but it's all in California. There's hardly any of these cars out here. So when we show up for a car show, what I was trying to tell you is what happened is I pulled mine up with my two buddies, and not anybody. We had $1 million Jaguars and the $180,000 cars that everybody, none of them see this. Not one person was looking at any other car but mine. And it was going boop, 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 boop. Every kid, every car became invisible, and Fred's just over there going, I don't have any car that's going to pull out at this show or any show that's ever going to outcompete with these. When you pull up at a car show with one of these, every other car is like, damn, I wish I had one of them. Nobody's looking at my car no more. What about all that work I did on my Camaro here? I got a 69, y'all looking at that shit. What about my car? Everybody, they all just like, damn. These things are a showstopper. They're a head, not a head turner, but a neck snapper. When you see them, you're just like, what the? And it don't do anything when it's sitting like this. It's got to be going this or that or this. And you can make that thing go like this, and everybody's just staring at it, and you got a whole fleet of people around it, and Fred's like, I got to get one. So every car that Fred has is because I had one. You know what happened? I had a car that was older than his. I said, Fred, I got a car older than yours. It's a 1918 Oldsmobile. I showed it to you. Not even a week later, he goes, I just bought a 1908, Rob. I got my lowrider popping off at the show. Fred, I want a lowrider. We're all car guys. We love it. It's just, you know, I bought the Rolls Royce. Where's the Rolls Royce? Hey, Fred, how come you bought a Rolls Royce?
Oh, gosh, you know.
It's in the other garage.
Yeah, so he drove over here with a Rolls Royce, and we sat in the back seat. Just understand, well, okay, yeah.
He sat in my back seat of my Rolls Royce for like 40 minutes pushing every button.
Exploring and checking. I said, God, I love this car, you know, and that's the thing. And next thing I know, I got that one, you know. But then again, then wait a minute. So then the next thing that happens is his lowrider, okay? He had got it all worked out, beautiful Cadillac, 78 Cadillac, took it out for the first time, it caught on fire and burnt down. He towed it over here, okay, where he worked on it and got it all beautiful again, and better, much better than before. I mean, world class. If you've seen his lowrider, it's unbelievable. You know, so it's over there in that garage. It was in that garage for what, several years, right? Yeah, a few years, right?
It was burnt to the ground.
And I would see it, yeah. And I would walk
car.
by and look, and I don't like lowriders. I don't know why and then month by month, year by year, they really started growing on me, lowriders. I said, I love these cars, and I was watching it come to life. And I said, man, this lowrider is very, very cool.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, Rob is calling me, man, I got this lowrider here. They don't know what to come. I said, okay, buy it for me, right? And he did. He negotiated a good deal. We didn't even we didn't realize, we didn't completely realize. I mean, it's like some wrestler, right? Some wrestler. And it was like, we didn't really realize whose car it was, because I didn't follow wrestling that much. I mean, if I didn't know who 50 Cent was, I sure as heck didn't know who this Mexican wrestler was.
Right.
But then I brought it here, and the guys that were working on his lowrider at the time, right? They're Mexican guys and stuff like that. And I drive up on this and they jump out. It's Eddie's car. You got Eddie's car. I got Eddie? Eddie who?
Yeah.
Eddie, that's Eddie Guerrero's car.
Yeah.
Well, he was the world famous champion, greatest wrestler of all time.
Yeah.
You know, and that's his belt. And it was, yeah, that's Eddie right there. He died young. He used to enter the ring in a lowrider. And this was on magazine covers, everything.
This car cost
And
you
we
100
didn't
grand
know.
to make it, man.
So
What did we pay,
I got it,
15
yeah.
grand for it, bro.
The belt was there, and
Best
then
deal ever,
this. I'm really proud of this because the Ninja Palm Beach. It's the car club, the Lowrider Car Club of Palm Beach. It's the only one, and it only has 2 members so far. There it is, the Ninja. So he had his first, and I said, "How'd you get that made and cut?" And he gave me all the information. Look at all that. It's all carved and gold. It's so cool. So they did his, and then he gave me the names of the people that did it.
So you got to have a plaque if you got.
Got to have a plaque. I didn't know that. Yeah, you got to have a plaque.
If you got a lowrider, and you're in the club.
you're in
if
the
you're
club.
in a lowrider in this kind of car, and you ain't in a club, boy, where you
No,
been?
boy.
Were you driving
Yeah.
that car when it started on fire?
This car? No, I didn't.
Your car.
Yes.
How, you just bailed?
Oh, I pulled over at the bank right here on Lake Worth Road with my wife, and I saw that my rim, because these are 13-inch rims, and that's the culture is that you can't go any bigger than 13s. So it has to be. That's the car culture. That's what gives you this and that and this and sit on the frame. So they don't give you, I had a drum brake in the back, and the drum brake is that big and the wheel is only that big, so there's no breathing around it. The drum brake locked up. As you know, when you set one, sometimes they'll freeze up on you. I didn't know it. The other 3 were working normal, but when I stopped at the light, I had to give it gas to go. It doesn't want to, you let go of your brake pedal, and sometimes it'll kind of ease forward. Well, it wasn't doing any of that. And I had to, and then feel the brake kind of push, so I felt like the brake was on, and I didn't know. So I just kept driving. And that damn thing heated up so freaking hot that my wheel was chrome, just like that, was red. Like it had been sitting in a furnace for forever, 5,000 degrees, so hot. I get out, my tire goes, boom! I get out of the car and I look at the rim, I'm like, God, that rim is burning hot, man. About that time it said, the rubber tire caught on fire because of the drum brake, so hot, heated that wheel up that the rubber caught on fire, and it started heating up and burning up and got up into the interior. The fender well burned out, burned the whole interior, 10-foot flames. The funny thing is the gas tank's right there, right? And the fire's all back in here, and I'm staring at it. I'm looking for a water hose. I'm looking for anything. There was a little puddle. I had a little rag. I was trying to put it on it and go, I was like, damn it, where can I get some water? What's going on? I said, run, baby, run. It's by the gas tank. She was pregnant. Run. She's standing over there by the tree filming it. And I'm like, why the fuck am I standing here? And I ran and I said, call 911. We was way too far
It got
gone.
burned. It got burned
way
pretty
too far.
bad.
I'm talking 20-foot flames. The whole car was on fire. It was coming out of here and here. 10 firemen show up and pull out the big hose, stick it over their thing. 3 other guys are holding it, and they just go, full of water coming out the doors and front and the back and the tailpipe and everything, man. Sat here for 3 years, brought it back to life. That's that purple car you saw.
Brought it back better, bro. You've seen that purple car is amazing.
That's my purple car.
That was it. So that one has such an incredible story behind it. You just got to keep that
I couldn't
forever.
sell it, so that's why,
Yeah,
I could have easily bought another one and fixed it up, a 78 Cadillac, a lot cheaper than that one, but I had to keep it because of the story. Remember you guys were telling me about the stories are the
Stories are important.
So I have a story. I have a fire rescue car that I can tell a story about. So to me,
And
that's
that
more
story
valuable.
will last generationally, forever. That story will be carried on.
And I have the pictures of it on fire and all that.
Yep,
And you go, that's
yep.
the same damn car.
Oh, and by the way, this is the Mark III.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about this is the Lincoln Continental Mark III. And they did not make one in a convertible. They never made one in a convertible, so we made one. So, and this is it. And so you'll never see one like this again.